Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to film a rewind plan with me from the week of the 20th, May 20th to 26th. These printables, inserts are from Jasenia at the Planner Sophisticate Jasenia printables on Etsy. Today we will be using this kit from Scribbles Co. I got this kit on her moving day box, and I've got just 2 sheets of the kit, and it's called Belle. The kit is called Belle, and it's absolutely gorgeous, very whimsical, and the colors go really well with the autumn season. It's autumn here in Australia. I'm gonna be using this fall pre-sale washi from Simply Gilded, and this one came in a sub box. This is the 5mm Simply Gilded washi. I'll also be using this Rose Color Days foiled sampler that I got a few months back. It's a coppery foil, and I'll be pulling in a few other foiled elements. I'm not sure I'm going to use all of them, but some of them will be used. So we have again Rose Color Days, Blending Like a Pro by Sharina Jane on Etsy, Simply Watercolor Co, Nicole Alexia Designs, Paper Muse Craft, Planner Stickers AU, Arctic Paper Studio, also from Australia, and the half boxes and quarter boxes from by Sharina Jane, as well as possibly an overlay from Rose Color Days. Those are the foiled elements. Next, I'll possibly be using shops like the Coffee Monsters Co, the Pretty Little Peony, Mockery, Elbel Prints, Planet Beautiful, and GP Sticker Studio. So most of the little icons that I'll be using are from Australian shops, some are Canadian shops. I also have One Small with Love here. So let's get started. So the first thing I do is choose the full box that goes on my sidebar, and that is, I chose the book one, and as always I forgot that I needed to white out the lines on the sidebar. I usually do that every week, so you'll see that I'm trying to white out, and then I just give up and lift the full box and white it out properly. So the next thing I do is line up, if a kit comes with a full box, a double box, I usually put that on my weekend, and I try to line it up with the full box on the sidebar. I usually like them to be right below what the sidebar box would be, and that's me awkwardly trying to do it. The kit had a few boxes with pink background and blue background, so I'm trying to put to mix match them. So I usually put my first full box next to lined up with the box on the sidebar, and then I just go up and down with my full boxes. I'm using the headers from Rose Color Day sampler on top of every single full box. And I do that across the entire spread. I start by I usually don't use this much foil. This was a lot of foil today, but that's okay. So I do that on the weekend as well, and once that base is done, I can move forward and start my actual spread. I mean, this is not just, there's more base to this, but that's one of the first things that I usually do on every single spread. So then I start on to work on my washi, and I usually use Simply Gilded washi 10mm at the bottom and a matching Simply Gilded on my sidebar. I absolutely adore this pre-sale washi that she came up last June, July. The saturation is absolutely beautiful, and I'm really happy with this washi. It's one of my favorites, and I use it on every single spread that I can. So I will be doing I do the entire bottom on 3 pages, and the 4th page I either use washi that comes with the kit, or I use the matching Simply Gilded washi, or whatever washi I'm using, to be honest. And as you can see, I always have a little bit of difficulty with washi, so I have to use my all of my tools to try and get it straight, and I fail most of the time, but that's okay. So moving back to the first part, I worked out all of the lines that I need, and I use the matching 15mm washi, and then I use Habit Tracker from Arctic Paper Studio. Now I don't track a lot of things on my weekly. I only track my no spend, because everything else I track on my dailies. So here I'm whiting out a little bit more and putting down the 15mm washi to complete the static of the spread. Dailies have been working really well for me. I sit down every day after work and just write down my dailies, which I'm very happy. That's helping me to actually track things and have, that sense of organization. I'm putting down a quarter box from by Sharina Jane, and shop on Etsy. She's Australian, and a munchkin, emoji from the Coffee Monsters Co. to mark that it was Coffee Monday, and I really needed that coffee that day, because what a day. Here I'm also putting down my munchkin from Once More with Love to mark my no spend, and then a label from the kit. And yes, like I said, it was one of those days. My contract had expired and I didn't have access to the building. So my contract shouldn't have expired, but it did. And I suddenly had no access to the building, no access to my computer, no access to anything, and I really needed to work. So it was fun. This is a bowl from the sampler from Rose Colored Days that marked that I needed that day. All I could do was try and fix my access. But in the meantime, I could train someone, so that's what I'm doing. I'm marking down that day I needed to train someone that is assisting us, and I put down a quarter box from Sharina Jane and a bowl from the kit. I also put down Instagram icon from Sharina Jane to mark down my Instagram post for Monday. That's religiously I do that. Next, I'm using the 5mm washi from Simply Gilded to mark down the end of my work day, if that makes sense. And then I'm using a label from the sampler from Rose Colored Days to mark down that I wanted to watch Game of Thrones, the finale of Game of Thrones, and that icon is from the Claire Bear prints. Next, on Tuesday, I put down again the work label. I mark my hours because I'm a contractor and I need to lodge my hours at the end of the week. And I put down this heart checklist from the sampler to write down the 3 main tasks on my work, so I can have a sense of organization on my week. Next is the end of my work day, so 5mm washi it is. When I'm not using the 5mm washi, I usually put down headers from the kids if the kids have a lot of headers. But when you don't have headers, you use washi. And next I put down the little icon, paw icon from the sampler to mark down that it was litter tray day. I tend to do my litter trays every 2 days or at least 3 times a week sometimes. And I layered a spray bottle from Natty Planning on top of a flag from the sampler to mark down that I wanted to tidy up the house as well. Next I used this character from Planet Beautiful to mark down that I wanted to water my front garden, and those were all the tasks related to my household on the Tuesday. Next, if we go to Wednesday, and again a work label. To mark my hours, so I can remind myself at the end of the week to put them down, and I have them written down. A 3-heart checklist for the 3 tasks that I wanted to accomplish that day at work. Once again, the 5mm washi to signalize the end of my work day. Next, I put down a label, a quarter box from Sharina Jane and an arrow from the sampler to remind myself that I needed to do some research on drainage for the house. And then a little grocery icon from the Little Pretty Peony, because that day I needed to order my groceries for the month. And I use here a label from the kit to mark down that I needed to call my mom, so I Skype my mom. She's not in the country, so we Skype each other every Wednesday and Sundays. On the Thursday, I put down the label for work. I usually don't like to have things like that, like, you know, what side by side exactly the same, and that really bothered me, but it happened. I put down 2 asterisks from the sampler to mark the 2 main tasks that I had that day. And that was a very interesting Thursday. You'll see myself expressing that with an emoji from the Coffee Monsters Co., a little bubble again, and just the word people, because that day it was just a people day. It was one of those. So after that, I put down the flag from the kit, and I layer it with a spray bottle from the sampler to mark down that I wanted to tidy up once more after work. And the 5mm washi comes to the rescue to close that all the chores that I had to do and tasks. I only had one more thing to do that day, which was email an on-forwarding address to get some tracking for an order, and I used a quarter box from Sharina Jane and a pen icon from the GP Sticker Studio to mark down that I needed to email them before I could finally sit down and relax and
what I do is I usually Netflix binge. So I just got a icon from the Once More with Love, and I just put down that I wasn't going to do anything else that day. I was going to sit down and binge Netflix until I had to go to bed. Next, on Friday, we do the work label once more. And below it, I put down just a bow from the sampler because I only had one main task that I had to get accomplished on the Friday, which was printing out my dailies for the following week at work. When I say dailies, it's not daily trackers, it's something work related. So that is when I put down the 5mm again. And Friday was a really good day. I mean, first of all, it was Friday, but I did a few things that were really fun that day. So I put down a quarter box label from the sampler to mark down that my groceries were getting delivered that day. And then I put down this clean leader from El Bell Prints. It's an Australian shop, to mark down that it was Scoop the Poop Day, or Poop Duty Day. Then I used this Paper Muse Craft icon, nail polish icon, to mark that I was having my nails done after work. I usually do them on Fridays. And I had a half box from Sharina Jane to mark down that it was game night for my husband, and I had the house full of boys. I did something very interesting that I've been thinking about doing it for a while now, which is putting down the 5mm washi at the side of the half box. I've seen Simply Watercolor Co. with stickers like that, but I wanted to make my own, so that's what I did, and I really liked how it looked. I'm probably going to be doing this all over. Moving to the weekend, that Saturday my husband was home, so he wasn't working, and we had a wonderful day of entertainment. I went to the movies and had a really good time. So I, as always, forgot the weekend banner. I don't always usually use the weekend banner because sometimes it just takes a lot of space for my insert, but on that day I wanted to use, but I forgot. So I put down the 5mm headers and an icon from a character from the House of Planner. That was my sleep-in day, so I didn't have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. And a movie marquee from the kid to mark down that we went to the movies and we watched John Wick. And after we got back from the movies, I also wanted to mark down a very important thing, which was bubble tea. I usually don't have bubble tea, but that day I did, and I wanted to mark down to remind myself that it was a special day. And I used the Once More with Love icon for that. That day was after we came from the movies. It was I needed to do my laundry, and I used a flag from the sampler layered with a girl from Planet Beautiful to remind myself that it was laundry day. And afterwards I just wanted to mark down that we had Chinese for dinner, and I used a little My Little Puff icon to remind myself that it was a good day, and we even had Chinese that day. Next I put the 5mm down again, and it actually looks pretty nice, the way it was done. But at that moment I realized I didn't put the weekend banner down, and I was so unhappy. This kit came with a quarter box that relates to Plan With Me's and YouTube, so I used that to mark down that I wanted on Sunday to film a haul and a Plan With Me, which I did, which was really good. And I used an icon from the sampler to remind myself that I needed to fold the clothes that I washed the day before. I'm using here an emoji from the Coffee Monsters code to remind of the Girl Boss anniversary sale, and an icon from Planning Like a Pro that I wanted to catch up on my planners. And when I say catch up, I mean my inserts, the other inserts, so financial insert and notes insert and so on. I was gonna have an awkward white space there, so I used this bow accent, this heart accent from Rose Colored Days, and I put down a little munchkin having popcorn because I wanted to have cuddles and watch some series with my husband on that night. You're gonna see that I don't use the inserts the way they were designed. I just make them fit my own purposes, and I white out the titles and use either quarter boxes from the kits, or if they don't have it, I use from my stash quarter boxes to mark down, put them down and mark what I actually use that page for. And this one I use for happy mail tracking, the 3 highlights of the week and the little things that I need to remind myself, the most 3 important things that I need to remind myself, and my memory spread. So I'm using a happy mail script from Rose Colored Days, memory script from Sticker Sloth Studio, it's a custom one, little things from Planner Sticker AU, and this week from Rose Colored Days again. Then I deco it with the deco that comes on the kit, and I do that every week. And I also use the deco from the kits to bling up the Happy Thought and Next Week boxes. And then I do the washi at the bottom of the spread. I don't need all of that space on that particular page of the insert, so I white out and use the 15mm washi from Simply Gilded if I'm using Simply Gilded, or whatever washi comes with the kit that I'm using on that specific week. And as you can see, my white out was driving me insane. I mean, look at that washi. It's just so beautiful. It's just so, it just makes me happy. I also use the 5mm on this spread to make it pop or make it different. And I think that the white bow or the inverted bow just made it so much more special. As you can see, my white out is dying. I think I said that a few times, didn't I? Probably did. So I use the whiteout to use again the 15mm, and I make a sandwich of the 5mm, and I absolutely love how it looks. And again, I always have trouble with cutting washi, and this took me around about 5 minutes to manage to do all that. Next, I put down a quarter box from Sharina Jane to mark down my Instagram followers. It's one other thing that I track on my weekly spread, and I'm really happy with my 394, but if you're interested, please go check me at Sam Goes Plan. So my happy thought is day to day. I was really happy with that, and my next week I had Simply Gilded releases, which is this week, and I just used this girl from the kit to bling that white space up.
And that's it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this plan with me. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you like this video, give a thumbs up, and please subscribe, spread the word, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.